Hi guys, it's Gabby again with another video. Happy Mother's Day. Today is Sunday, it's Mother's Day. And in honor of Mother's Day, I thought I'd share you guys both of my pregnancy stories. And don't forget to comment and like. I hope you guys like this. By the way, I'm going to be doing this while I do my skincare. Okay, so when I got pregnant with my daughter, this was... I got pregnant with her fall of 2021. Yeah, so I had just gotten married that spring. So I got married April 3rd of 2021. I got married. And I wanted to try, me and my husband, obviously. We wanted to try to get pregnant like right away. And it just was not happening. We kept getting negative pregnancy tests, and then I started to worry. At first I was confused because I was like, I'm getting my periods, like why am I not getting pregnant, you know? So that fall, I'd say it was like end of October, I went to the doctor to get checked. Keep getting negative pregnancy tests. I don't know what's going on. And then to me, let's see, so that's April, May, June, July, August, September, October. That was 6 months. To me, that was a long time. And I know there's people that go years without having a positive pregnancy test. But to me, as a 22-year-old, I was like, what the heck is going on, you know? So we go to the doctor, they order ultrasound, they order labs and stuff. So I get those done. I get a call like 2 weeks later. I don't know why it took them that long, but they're like, well, we got your blood work back. You do have PCOS because that's what your ultrasound showed. I had cysts on my ovaries, and according to my blood work, I was not ovulating. Like, you can have a period and not ovulate. I didn't know that. So they were like, okay, so we could put you on medication, so we can have you come in for that. And we'll just go from there and see what happens. Okay, so here I go. Made the appointment. 2 weeks after that phone call, I have my appointment. Well, I go in, and the doctor was like, oh, and for that phone call, I don't know if I mentioned, they said that I wouldn't be able to have children. They literally said that, and when they said that to me, like, I literally started crying. Like, I was like, how, like, I've always wanted to be a mother, you know? How am I not going to be able to have children? So I started crying, and I went to my appointment after that. So I went to my appointment and see, like, what else we can do, you know? So I go to my appointment 2 weeks later after that phone call. And the doctor's just like, you know, we're gonna try and put you on metformin for your PCOS, and then we'll see how that goes, and we'll go from there. Okay, cool. But before he prescribed the metformin, he's like, you know what, we know that we told you that you can't have children, but just to be on the safe side, let's just do a pregnancy test. So we did the pregnancy test. I had no hopes of it being positive because I kept getting negative pregnancy tests. And yeah, the pregnancy test I did in the office was positive. It was positive, and I was like, what the frick? Like, what the heck, you know? I thought I wasn't gonna be able to have children. Like, I'm freaking out. Like, I'm excited, but I'm freaking out. So then I tell my husband. And I wanted to do something cute, like, you know, like a little surprise and blah, blah, blah. But I was so excited that I'm just like, you know what? I'm pregnant. They told me I'm pregnant. And I showed him the lab thing, because they did the pregnancy test in the office, and they asked for blood work to confirm the pregnancy. So yeah, I showed him that, and my husband was so excited. He was like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe we're pregnant, blah, blah. We were both very excited. My due date for my daughter was it was August 7th. I remember that. Her due date was August 7th of 2022. But when I was going to my, what do you call them? My OB appointments, I at my 39-week OB appointment, I asked my provider to do a membrane sweep. And for those of you that don't know what a membrane sweep, so it's, pretend this is the placenta and this is your uterus. They stick both fingers in and they unstick the placenta. Not the placenta. What is it, the placenta? No, it's not the placenta. They unstick the amniotic sac from the uterus, and that can help you go into labor. So I went into my 39-week appointment. I asked for the membrane sweep. I asked for the membrane sweep, and the provider was like, you know, this can help you go into labor or it may not. Like, it helps some women, but that doesn't mean that it'll help you. I was like, okay, cool. They did it, whatever. I went on my way. But in my head, I was like, well, I gotta prepare in case I do go into labor, right? So my smart brain was like, let's go to Costco. I go to Costco. Costco is about in like 45-minute drive. I drive to Costco. I'm shopping, blah, blah, blah. I have to pee. I go pee in Costco at the bathroom and I'm bleeding. So I quickly pay for my shit. Pay for my stuff. I speed. I know we shouldn't be speeding, but I sped back to my town. Dropped off the groceries at my doorstep, like inside the house, but at the doorstep. And me and my mom booked it to the hospital. We were in the hospital. Like, we went to the hospital and we were in triage for like 4 hours. And they were like, yeah, you're dilating. We're gonna admit you. So they admitted me at 4 centimeters dilated. And they were like, okay, they set me up in my room. They gave me the bouncy ball to like get the dilation going. I dilated up to a 6 centimeters when the dilation like completely stopped. I was 6 centimeters for almost 6 hours, I'd say. And my provider comes in and she was like, she asked my mom, because my mom was with me. She was like, did you have a C-section? And I guess like that can be genetic. I'm not saying that just because your mom had a C-section, that means you're gonna have a C-section. But that can happen. So the provider was like, oh, that scared me. Okay, so the provider was like, okay, that makes sense because your mom had a C-section. That can mean that you're more likely to have a C-section. So since I stopped dilating for like 6 hours or whatever, she's like, let's try and break your water and see if gravity helps your baby dilate, you know? So she came in with the hook, the amniotic hook thing, and they broke my water. Mind you, my husband had ran home to get like some things and come back, and they broke my water when he was like coming back, but he wasn't at the hospital yet. So they broke my water. 4 hours went by, nothing. I was still at a 6. So the provider that I had was like, you know, you can't have a ruptured amniotic sac for like blank amount of hours. I can't remember. I know it's no more than 24 hours, but she's like, we're gonna have to do a C-section. And honestly, when she said we're gonna have a C-section, they came in with the like signing thing, and everything went by so fast. Like, honestly, I didn't even have time to process like what was going on. So let me backtrack a little. When they admitted me and sent me to my actual room, I was not feeling any pain at all, like no pain. But I was like, I'm gonna get the epidural just in case like it escalates, you know? I'm the type of person that I'm scared of pain, and if I have the option of not feeling it, I'm not gonna freaking feel it, you know? So right when they admitted me, I was like, give me the epidural right now. So they gave me the epidural, which was handy because for later in the C-section, you know? So yeah, they did my C-section, whatever. My daughter was born. She was actually born August 3rd, not August 7th. So they did the C-section literally right at the 39 weeks. So She wasn't a preemie or anything. She was born August 3rd, and the funny thing about that date is that me and my dad do not get along, and we haven't talked in years, and that's my dad's birthday. August 3rd is my dad's birthday, and my daughter was born August 3rd. So yeah, that was my daughter. She's born in the summer, kind of towards the end of summer. So yeah, second pregnancy. My daughter was 15 months when I found out I was pregnant. And for my son's pregnancy, here's how it went down. So when I had my daughter, I didn't know what type of like birth control to go on, because we didn't want to have another baby. Like, our daughter was, we wanted to have another baby, but not right away. We like wanted to wait like the next amount of years or whatever. So I was on birth control. At first I was on the pill. I was on that for a little bit. That didn't work out, and after that I went on the NuvaRing, which is the ring you place yourself and you remove every 3 weeks. I was on that for, I'd say close to a year. And then, you know how when you're on birth control but you're very paranoid that you're pregnant. So I had bought a bunch of pregnancy tests from the dollar store, and they were just sitting in my car, out, and I was like, you know what, I don't even need these, so why am I gonna have them here? But I only had, I think I had 2. One I think was defective because I think it was the control line was already on it, and it was closed, so I threw that one away because it was defective. But when I used the other one, I was like, I'm just gonna use it to throw it away, because porque voy a tirar algo que está bueno, you know? I'm not gonna throw away something that's still good, you know? So I used it. I peed in it. I put it in the back of the, you know, the tank, the toilet tank, and I waited. And I was like, it's probably gonna be negative. Like, I'm on birth control. I was literally on birth control. Like, I was like, there's no freaking way. My daughter opens the door. She grabs it from the tank and she runs to the living room. But I was home alone. Like, it wasn't more like, oh my gosh, your dad's gonna see this. It was more of like, give it to me. I want to see what it says, dude. So I grab it from her. The line, like, you know how sometimes when you take a pregnancy test, like, the line is very faint and it's like gradually gets darker? No. That was like instantly dark, like instantly red. The double lines were instantly red. And I was like, pregnant, you know? I'm pregnant. And I freaked out. The first thing I did was call my coworker, because I don't know if I told you guys, I work in healthcare. So I called my coworker who works at Women's Health, and I was like, girl, I'm pregnant, and I think it's twins. Like I said, I thought it was twins because the line instantly red, dark red. So I was like, oh my god, it's either twins or I'm very far along, you know? So I call her, she's like, oh my god, well, like, congrats. I'm like, yeah, but we were not planning on having another one, you know, whatever. I call my mom freaking out, and she's like, well, it is what it is. I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. And I told my husband, and I was like, well, I didn't tell him. For this, the second pregnancy, I did surprise him because I found out when I was pregnant with my son. I remember the date. It was March 12th. It was March 12th I found out I was pregnant. But I told him, I think it was like a week later. And I went to the store, I bought a little basket, and I did, because it's almost Easter, so they had like the Easter stuff. So I got a little basket with the little gift filler stringy thing. I bought a pair of booties, and I bought another pregnancy test to take to put in there. And so I like decorated the room. He came in and he's like, what the heck? And I like uncovered the basket, and he's like, oh dude, he was so shocked. He was so in shock. He barely spoke to me for like a week. Like, he would speak to me, but he would just be like, yeah, blah blah. So later it kicked in where it's like, well, you're pregnant, and he was happy about it. But we were both like, nos hicimos la idea que you're like, well, you all have sex, you all had sex, what do you want, a freaking lavadora or something? Like, no. So we were pregnant with my son, and for him, I think it was, mind you, both pregnancies, I was very active. I would hike, I would dance Azteca, I would dance folklorico, until my son's pregnancy. No, it was until we were, I think it was, we were 15 weeks pregnant when they told me I had, I don't know exactly the name of it, but it's when your cervix starts shortening, and that can cause dilating. So to fix that, they basically staple your cervix shut, or they sew it shut until you are like ready to deliver. And I was sent to Seattle's hospital. I was sent to Seattle's hospital to see if that sewing of the cervix is called a cerclage. So they sent me to Seattle hospital to see if I qualified for a cerclage, and I guess it was so thin that it did not qualify as a cerclage. So if they would have done a cerclage, they would have, like, I don't know, like made me go into early labor when I was like 15 weeks. So they were like, the best thing we can do now is just bed rest, light duty, whatever you can, like don't do anything, you know? But honestly, like in this freaking economy, I had to work. Like I could not just not work, you know? And I had a toddler, so there's no way, there's no rest. What's rest, right? So what I had to do was I had to tell my employer like what was going on. And I'm a medical assistant, so we're like walking. Most of the day we're like walking, rooming patients, cleaning rooms, walking paper to the front, walking paper to the back, you know? So I had to tell my employer what was going on, and they did put me on light duty, which sucked because when you're used to being so active and you can't like do anything, it sucks. And at work, they had like during most of my pregnancy, like since they told me I had that, I was a receptionist. Props to all the receptionists out there, because I don't know how y'all do it. I was a receptionist for like most of my pregnancy, and girl, I would not be able to do it. You get yelled at, you get screamed at, you get like everything. So anyway, yeah. And then they were like, there is a chance, because you have the shortening of the cervix, that you could go into preterm labor. So honestly, I had my bag packed, my hospital bag packed from like 20 weeks, just in case. So the doctor told me, as long as you make it to 34 weeks, you're fine. So like I said, no activity, no sex, no physical activity whatsoever, nothing. That was the doctor's orders. So yeah, so we just had to make it into 34 weeks. Thank God he made it to 39 weeks. They had me schedule my C-section, because if you have a C-section first, they prefer that you have a C-section again. Like you could have a VBAC, but it's not recommended. There's like risks that can go into that, and since I live in a really rural town, we have a rural hospital. So if something were to go wrong, our hospital is not equipped to care for me, so they would have to ship me off to Seattle. That's a 2.5-hour drive if that was an emergency. They do have a helicopter, but it's really expensive. So they were like, you know, as long as you make it to 34 weeks, I made it to 39 weeks, because I scheduled my C-section. My due date for him was November 7th, but he was born October 31st. He was born on Halloween, which was one of my favorite holidays, like of all the year, and he was born on Halloween. So yeah, that's my birth story for him. Breastfeeding was a challenge the second time than it was the first time, because I feel like for my first pregnancy, I would say I had like the average milk supply. I'm not sure what the average is, but I feel like I had an average milk supply where I was either feeding or pumping every 2 hours. That's what they recommend, every 2 hours. For my son, I was pumping every hour. Like, I had so much milk to where, like, if I didn't pump at every hour, like, it felt like I had glass in my boobs. Like, that's how much milk I had. So I would feed him, pump an hour later, and then he would feed the hour after. So it was 1 hour feed, 1 hour pump, 1 hour feed, 1 hour pump, 1 hour feed, 1 hour pump. And for those of you ladies that say, oh, your C-section is the easy way out, let me tell you, it is not the easy way out. When you deliver a baby vaginally, you deliver the baby vaginally and you're fine. Unless you get stitches, you know, because you can tear. But, dude, you have a C-section, they open you up, they stitch you up, and they're, like, after that, they're still, like, doing the I think they're called fundal massages, where they press on your stomach for your uterus to go down. Can you imagine that? Like, you just got stitched up and someone's pushing on your stomach. Dude, that was the worst. And then for my first pregnancy, they were gonna send me home with Oxy for, like, managing pain at home, and the doctor never sent it. I was surviving off of Tylenol and ibuprofen. That did nothing for the pain. I couldn't get up. I had to get up, but I couldn't barely get up. I had to walk to prevent clots. Can you try moving or walking when somebody just opened you up and stitched you back up? Can you imagine that pain? No, it hurts so bad. Second time around was way better because they did send me with Oxy. And I was managing my pain with Oxy, Tylenol, and ibuprofen, which makes a freaking difference. And then another thing that helped me is, you know, the pads that you can, like, pop for, like, people that had a vaginal delivery? If you grab the, what is it called, the icy pop pads, and you stick, like, the sticky part you put on your underwear, and the icy part touches your incision, dude, that helps so much. I remember when I left the hospital, I asked the nurse, I was like, can I have some of those, like, ice pop pads? And she was like, why, you didn't deliver vaginally? I was like, yeah, but they really help with the incision. She was like, oh, for sure. She gave me a couple to take home. But yeah, I really recommend getting those ice pop pads because they really, like, help. Well, at least they help me. So yeah, that is my birth story. Do I want to have more kids? I do want to have more kids, but I'm waiting longer, just because, you know, right now it's not a right time to have another child. So I'm hoping maybe like next 4 to 5 years, maybe. But at least 3 kids I want to have. I did have 2 C-sections. They recommend 3, but that's just a recommendation. So who knows if I could have another one or another 2. Twins do run in my family, so I might have twins. I don't know. But yeah, I hope you guys like this. Comment down below what other story time you want to hear. If you want to hear how I met my husband, or our immigration story is pretty long, so if you want to hear that, go ahead and comment it down below and I'd be happy to film that for you. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.